one's from me. Which is why I said, where's bowling gone?
Yeah.
Bad arts teaching is worse than no arts teaching. So after being told that I couldn't sing when I was age 7, I didn't sing aloud for 21 years. And I mean, that was my formative years, well and truly stuffed. Then we go on to conduct to Charles Hazelwood's memory of being played music that you could well and truly feel and hear. Then Frank C. Boyce, who is an author, acknowledges the dangerous chemistry of a child in their formative years. Chris Riddell, illustrator, says school is sucking the confidence out of children. So they come in drawing things, scribbling, quite happy, and a few years later they're too nervous about putting their pens to paper because it's not going to be something proper. I'm hoping you're nodding there. Ken Robinson, the go-to person for me for education, talked about the height of education is when you're 3, of being creative is when you're 3, and then you go into school and it's educated out of you all over those years. It's just too depressing. But Article 27 of the Human Rights Act says everybody's got to enjoy the arts. No chance there then. Summer term, Bankside School in Leeds. It's history in year 2 is doing the Normans and using the bio tapestry to learn what we know about historical sources as the way to discover information from the past. 4 groups of 7 are recreating a bit of the tapestry. Other pupils are painting their horses, ready to stick them on the frieze. They think about what the pupils would be, what the people would be wearing, what colours they'd have. They're not using fancy colours like purple or blues, they're expensive. And the most prominent colours at that time were red, orange, brown and green. Meanwhile, over in Richmond Hill, still in Leeds, Year 6 are studying the anatomy of the eye. They were in fact building eyes. The kids still see their creations up there on display and they speak about making them afterwards when completing the work to start the lesson. Do you remember when we used cling film over the eyeball? That was the lens. So this is creativity in other subjects. I want to argue the whole thing about when people talk about the creative arts, that they shouldn't be calling them that. I just think the arts are something, could be creative, they just could be expressive, they could be performing or visual or whatever. And creativity isn't confined to the arts, but is used right across the curriculum. And I would like staff and children to be able to use that. Generally at high school myself, I love my lessons. But my desire to travel was dropped one big country or continent at a time, as a geography teacher reduced it to a list of imports and exports. In my head, I'd been paddling up the Amazon, discovering Inca ruins, wrestling with iguanas, building tree houses, and now all I see that they did was sell beef to people abroad.